balance is such a subjective thing, and work is completely different for everybody. Like, this is my work. This is not, I'm not, you know, for someone else, their relationship with that work might be tedium. It might be depressing. They might be doing something that really doesn't fill them up. But I think there needs to be nuance in the fact that all work is different. Every individual is clearly different, and it is wired to find the fulfillment in different ways. So work-life balance in and of itself is a pretty ridiculous concept, to think that there is a balance. There really must be, as you kind of describe it, a subjective balance, where there's a balance for Steve. And as long as I don't sacrifice social connection, isolation, and all the other things, then I'm balanced. My balance could, you know, look much different from yours.
For whom and when, right? If you're 22 years old and you've got this idea for a startup and you're a coder and you want to code like a maniac, like, knock yourself out. You have no other responsibilities. You have the time, you have the freedom to do that in that moment. But that 22-year-old, 20 years later with kids and a mortgage and whatever, it's a different time. That person's in a different place. These things, you know, they have to be contextualized, right? And yes, if you want to achieve something great, you are going to have to work very hard, and you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone. You may even need to be obsessed. If you're living an entirely balanced life where you're home at 5 o'clock and you're always at dinner and all, it's like you're making it very difficult to achieve something extraordinary. That extraordinary thing is going to require an extraordinary commitment, which means in the social construct of balance, you are going to be out of balance. If you're going to feel uncomfortable with that because you have other priorities in your life, then maybe that's not for you. And being out of balance to pursue something great, in my opinion, is perfectly fine. Again, as long as you allow that pendulum to swing back and those other things in your life that are important are nourished and attended to. So it's a very specific thing. It depends on who you are, what stage of life you're in, what you're seeking, and having the self-awareness to understand that you can't be everywhere all the time, and you can't be 100% for all of the things that are important to you in your life in every single day. So it's about conscious awareness and intentionality about where you're rowing that boat. You can only row your boat in one direction. Are you rowing the Stephen boat towards Stephen today? Are you going to row it towards your girlfriend? Well, you're going to have to do a lot of rowing in a lot of different directions. It's just knowing that you're making a conscious choice and doing that with that understanding and appreciation, I think is really important. But all of this is to put the lie to the idea that anybody is living a balanced life on a minute-to-minute, hour-to-hour, day-to-day basis. It's a construct that I think makes people feel guilty and bad about themselves, because none of us are adhering to that idealized version of a balanced life that we have a mental picture of.